One of those weeks where you want to stay indoors and stay in the air conditioning. You're just getting tired. You feel lazy. You don't want to go outside because it's so hot. And we have another day of that today and tomorrow, too. So unfortunately, we're still dealing with that dangerous heat as we head into the next few days. Peak heat yesterday through tomorrow, although this weekend is still going to be fairly warm as well. So excessive heat warnings, they're still in effect through late Friday or late Saturday nights, depending where you're at. Excessive heat watches, heat advisories in place for most areas. Small little pockets there for Los Angeles where we're not dealing with any, but most areas under that. And that goes for really our entire state. We're seeing from Northern California all the way down to Southern California, a lot of it under excessive heat warnings. Areas of Nevada, Arizona, Utah also dealing with some heat all across the West. But today is going to feel very similar to yesterday. Some areas warming up a couple degrees, some cooling off a couple degrees, and it's just going to feel really close to it. We are dealing with some high clouds out there. Those aren't really going to change our temperatures much, unfortunately. Downtown LA right now, really mild start, 68 degrees. It should be feeling pretty nice as you're stepping out the door in most areas. As I take you out to Santa Monica, you're looking at about 65 there. Away from the coast, further inland, we have not cooled off much, seeing not much relief there for Santa Clarita at about 77 at 90 degrees in Palm Springs right now. You can see some moisture just off the coast, and that's due to some subtropical moisture, and that's really just bringing some high clouds to us, and it's not going to change our temperatures much here for today. So unfortunately, a lot of those inland spots are still going to be dealing with some triple-digit heat, and that's all because of that huge ridge of high pressure that's over the Four Corners region. It's not going to be moving out to the east until this weekend, and we're not going to notice too much relief and much cooler temperatures until next week, although it's still going to be warm out there. Highs today, 106 in San Bernardino, 97 in Temecula, and this is excessive heat. This goes for Riverside, Lake Elsinore, where you're into those triple digits. Mid to upper 80s for Orange County. You're heading out to Disneyland today, 89 degrees for Anaheim. Stay hydrated out there. Covina, you're at 103, at 110 out into Apple Valley, and 97 out into Glendale. Potential for heat-related illnesses if you work outdoors. Stay hydrated. If you're doing anything outdoors today, try to do it early in the morning or later at night. But if you're not, wear loose, light clothing. Very easy to get potential heat-related illnesses today. 101 out into Northridge, and that 105 there for Santa Clarita. Even warm out there in Oxnard at 82 degrees. Los Angeles and Orange County at 90 today. We're down to some upper 80s tomorrow, Friday, mid 80s by the weekend. By next Tuesday, down to 79 degrees. Valleys and Inland Empire at dangerous heat again today, an average of 100. But again, a few of those inland spots getting up to 105 to 106 today. 102 by tomorrow, still triple-digit heat. Less heat on Friday. It's still hot. Same for this weekend in the mid 90s. By next week, it looks really nice to see 85 degrees there as we head into Tuesday. For the beaches, that's the place to be. Mid 70s to low 80s along the coast today. We stay there the next few days in the mid 70s, and by next Monday, we see some low 70s return. Mountains, 93 degrees today, 90 tomorrow and Friday. Elevated fire danger, still the case. We're still dealing with breezy conditions in the mountain communities and the desert. So try to stay away from any activities that could spark a fire. Our vegetation's already so dry, and unfortunately, this heat is just making it so much worse. 113 degrees out there for the Antelope Valley. It is going to be so hot. 111 tomorrow and Friday. Try to stay cool out there and try to stay safe. We see some 90s back as we head into next Monday. All right, let's turn things over to morning. We're not even seeing much relief overnight. So if you're stepping out the door this morning, it's just really feeling very mild. Most areas you're really not going to need a sweater. We have to get through today and tomorrow still. We're under these excessive heat warnings in some spots until Friday or Saturday nights. But we do have some areas that have downgraded to an excessive heat watch. So we do have a nice eddy that's spinning off the coast. That's going to bring a bit of a marine layer. It's not going to move too far inland, but we're hoping that's going to cool our temperatures off just a little bit for some areas of the San Fernando Valley and the San Gabriel valleys. But today is still going to be very hot. We're not going to notice too much of a difference compared to yesterday. You're still going to want to be safe out there. Areas of downtown LA into Orange County are in the upper 80s. Very warm out there. The Inland Empire and the valleys, you're in triple-digit heat. Beaches, 75 degrees. The mountains, 93. High desert, 112 degrees. We'll let you know when we'll finally see some relief. That's going to be coming up in just a little bit. We'll turn things over to Scott Wright. We're still looking at those elevated fire conditions and potential heat-related illnesses as well. So as we're taking a look at some of those temperatures outside, we have not seen much relief overnight. 77 degrees out there in Santa Clarita. You can see some high clouds moving over the region. Some of the beach communities might get a little bit of fog this morning. We are going to have a nice marine layer. It's not going to move too far inland, but it is going to provide just a tiny bit of cooling in some areas along the coast and along areas of the San Fernando, San Gabriel valleys, but still dangerous heat today, again tomorrow, downtown LA, inland Orange County, upper 80s. It's going to be feeling really similar to yesterday. Valleys, Inland Empire well into the triple digits for most spots. Beaches at about 70, the mountains as well. High desert 83 degrees and 96 out into the low desert. I'll send it back to you guys for now.
Okay, thank you so much, Brianna. I appreciate it. California farm.
Not the case outdoors. If you are headed out, oh my goodness, it's going to feel really close to what we saw yesterday. So if you work out outdoors, or I know a lot of kids are on summer break now, you want to take them to the park, do so very, very early in the morning. We didn't even see much relief overnight. Temperatures are pretty mild out there. So try to stay indoors later this afternoon once we start to see those peak temperatures. Excessive heat warnings still in place through Friday or Saturday nights in some areas. I mean, we still have to deal with the peak heat as we head into this afternoon and into tomorrow as well, where we're going to see some areas well into the triple digits. This is dangerous heat, especially out there for some of our desert communities and those inland spots, and much of the west too. Most of California under excessive heat warnings. This is not what we want to be seeing, especially this early into the year. Areas of Nevada, Arizona, Utah, I mean, just excessive heat as we have that high pressure over that Four Corners region. So we do have a nice eddy, though, that's spinning up off the coast. It's not going to move too far inland, but it is going to cool our coastal communities down. You may notice a little fog out there in some of the beaches. But other than that, we're going to be seeing a lot of sunshine today with some high clouds out there. 65 degrees at Santa Monica Pier. Here's some of the high clouds. That's due to some subtropical moisture that's pushing up from the south. This is looking at Palmdale, where you're at about 70 degrees right now. Enjoy these temperatures if you're up early. You can see some of that moisture again. That's that subtropical moisture that's pulling up just from the south a bit. That's just bringing some high clouds to us here. It's not really going to help change our temperatures much, but that marine layer may help cool us off just a tiny bit in areas of the San Fernando, San Gabriel valleys. 73 out in Ontario right now, 77 in Santa Clarita. It is warm out there as you're stepping out. You can leave the sweaters at home. 67 out into Hawthorne. High pressure there still out over the Four Corners region. It's not going to be moving out of the way until this weekend, and still this weekend's going to be pretty warm. We're not going to notice much relief until we head into really next week. A big relief, that is. 106 out into San Bernardino, 97 Temecula, though, 117 out into Palm Springs. We broke some heat records yesterday. Could do so again today. 103 out into Covina, 97 Pasadena. Pretty warm still for Los Angeles, about 89. Same for Anaheim. You're heading to Disneyland today. Stay hydrated out there. 105 in Santa Clarita, 101 out into Northridge, and 96 out into Simi Valley. Los Angeles, Orange County. Close to 90 again today. Very warm conditions. We cool it off just a tiny bit tomorrow, Friday. Through the weekend, we're still in those mid 80s. Next Monday, Tuesday, we will start to see temperatures feel a little bit more comfortable out there. For the valleys, the Inland Empire, well into the triple digits. This is just an average, about 100 degrees. But we are going to see some of those areas like Santa Clarita, San Bernardino getting up to about 105, 106 today. Thursday, we cool it off just a little bit. But Friday, we're still dealing with some heat, less heat, though. And then as we head into the weekend next week, we start to see some 80s return by next Monday, Tuesday. Still a very warm weekend ahead as well. Beaches will be popular. That's the place to be. Mid 70s today. Some spots in the low 80s, though. And we stay in the mid 70s through the weekend. Low 70s as we head into next week. For the mountains, still hot conditions. We're still dealing with elevated fire danger out there, especially with some breezy weather in the mountain communities in the high desert. Stay away from any activities that could spark a fire, especially with some of this heat out there. Low 90s through Friday. By next week, we do start to see temperatures fall a bit, although it is still going to be warm. High desert, 113 degrees today, 111 by tomorrow and Friday. Well into the triple digits, still into the weekend. Very dangerous heat there for the Antelope Valley. All right, I'll send it back to you guys.
Yeah, 95 never looked so good right now, Brianna. Thank you so much. Let's take a look at your traffic this morning.
Some cooler temperatures until this weekend, and still this weekend is going to be pretty warm out there. So unfortunately, though, the peak heat is going to be still yesterday through tomorrow. So we do have another day of it, unfortunately. Dangerous heat out there, elevated fire conditions, heat-related illness is also a potential. So if you have to do anything outdoors, make sure you get it done early. I know a lot of kids are on summer break. Maybe you want to go to the park. Make sure you do it early, or at least later, not during the peak heat, later this afternoon. So excessive heat warnings in place until Friday or Saturday night in some spots. There's just a few pockets there just closer to the coast where we're not dealing with any, but we do have an eddy that's spinning up. It's bringing us a little bit of a marine layer this morning, and that could did cool our temperatures off just a tad bit today in areas of the San Gabriel and San Fernando valleys. Either way, we're still dealing with excessive heat, though. Downtown LA, Orange County, upper 80s. The Inland Empire and Valleys getting up into the triple digits again, so very hot temperatures. Beaches at about 75, 93 hot for the mountains, and 112 degrees out into the Antelope Valley. We'll let you know how hot it's going to be still through tomorrow and when we'll see some cooler weather. That's all coming up. For now, let's turn things over to
Ruffalo for a first look at our forecast. A scorcher.
Yeah, I know. Temperatures are just dangerous heat again today and tomorrow with that peak heat yesterday through tomorrow. So we're still dealing with some very dangerous heat out there. And it's warming up pretty quickly. 90 degrees in Santa Clarita, 100 out into Palmdale now. So we're starting to see some triple digits out there into the high desert. Otherwise, about 83 in Los Angeles. A little closer to the coast, mild temperatures in the 70s there in Hawthorne at about 74 degrees. Excessive heat warnings, though. I mean, temperatures really aren't going to be too much different compared to yesterday. Some areas might be cooling off a little closer to the coast, just a couple degrees due to a marine layer this morning. Other than that, though, we're still dealing with dangerous heat in much of Southern California and throughout the state. You can see here throughout California where we have many excessive heat warnings in effect from Northern California all the way down to Southern California. Areas of Arizona, Nevada, Utah also under some excessive heat warnings, watches, advisories. And that's all because of this huge ridge of high pressure that's out over the Four Corners region. So we're really dealing with the heat here in the west, unfortunately. That's elevating our fire danger, and it's also raising concern, too, for potential heat-related illnesses. Los Angeles, Orange County, we're at 90 today. Tomorrow and Friday, we do cool it off just a little bit more as we head into the next few days. However, still dealing with that excessive, dangerous heat through the end of the week. Mid-80s through the weekend there, and then by next week, we do start to see some more relief. Now, for the valleys, the Inland Empire, much warmer and hot, very hot conditions out there. An average of about around 100 degrees today, but in some of the hottest spots getting up to 105 to 106 inland today, 102 tomorrow. We do begin to cool it down a bit. Still close to 100, still hot on Friday. This weekend's still pretty warm, although we're continuing to cool off in the mid-90s. It's not until next Tuesday things will hopefully start to feel a little more comfortable for you at 85 degrees with some safer conditions out there. For the beaches, you're looking at some mid-70s today, and that's going to take us through the end of the week. A couple of coastal communities reaching some low 80s, and by next week, we're back down to some low 70s. Some hot conditions up into the mountains, still 93 today. You'll want to stay away from any activities that could spark a fire, too, while we're dealing with this heat. We already have such dry vegetation out there, dry conditions, and that heat, that's taking us through the weekend, close to 90 still by Saturday. We have some upper 70s by next Tuesday. High desert, this is where we are seeing some of the hottest temperatures, 113 degrees for the Antelope Valley. Palm Springs expected to get to 117 today. And then for the high desert, we're looking at about 111 tomorrow and Friday. Things are very hot out there in the Antelope Valley. You want to stay cool, stay hydrated. At least next week, we do start to see some 90s again. All right, Philip, I'll send it over to you.
Okay. Thanks, Brianna.
Thank you. And we're all feeling the heat this
everything heat-related illnesses. I mean, it's just dangerous heat out there. Unfortunately, that peak heat happening yesterday through tomorrow. So try to stay cool, stay hydrated out there. And if you need to get anything done outdoors, just try to do so early, at least through the end of the week. But if you work outdoors, you'll definitely want to stay hydrated. Try to stay away from caffeine, anything that will dehydrate you. We're already in triple-digit heat there for the high desert. 102 out into Lancaster. It's getting hot in Santa Clarita at 99. 96 degrees down into Hemet. And 83 in Los Angeles, not bad toward the beaches. That's the place to be in the 70s because we're dealing with those excessive heat warnings through this weekend, at least through Friday, Saturday nights in some spots. Heat advisories, excessive heat watches. And so this is going to be the case over the next couple of days where it is going to be very dangerous to be spending some time outdoors and overexerting yourself. So just make sure you're not taking part in any strenuous activities if you can help it. We're dealing with this really across the West. I mean, take a look at most of California where you have these excessive heat warnings, advisories pretty much almost throughout the state. This goes for areas of Nevada, Arizona, into Utah as well. So a lot of us are dealing with the heat. And this is going to be one of the worst spots to be today. Palmdale, the high desert, is going to be getting very hot. 100 degrees right now. We're expecting this to really get well into the triple digits this afternoon. Malibu, not too bad, 71 degrees there. And this is all because we have that big ridge of high pressure. So this is out toward the Four Corners region. It's not going to be moving out of the way really until this weekend. Then we'll start to see a little bit of relief, but it's still going to be pretty warm out there this weekend. And then next week, that's when we'll start to see some better relief. Highs today, they're going to be really close to yesterday. You're looking at 106 in San Bernardino. Not as bad in Temecula, still hot at 97, 117 out into Palm Springs. We reached 119 there yesterday. Mid to upper 80s out there for Orange County, 103 in Covina, 89 in Los Angeles, still very warm there for the city, and 113 out into Lancaster. 105 in Santa Clarita, very hot there too, and Northridge at about 101. Same for Ojai, 82 out into Oxnard. So pretty warm up there even for Ventura and Oxnard. It's rare for June. Los Angeles, Orange County, 90 degrees today. We cool it off a couple degrees tomorrow through Friday. We continue to cool it through the weekend. We'll reach the mid 80s. And then as we head into next week, next Monday, Tuesday, we'll start to feel a little bit more relief out there. It'll at least be a little bit more noticeable. For the valleys, the Inland Empire, temperatures in the triple digits today. Again, some of those hottest spots getting up to 105 to 106. Tomorrow we cool it off a couple degrees. We continue to do so Friday. Still going to be hot and a very warm weekend ahead too in the mid 90s. Next Tuesday we see 85 degrees. It's nice to see that. The beaches will be the place to be over the next 7 days. Really mild temperatures in the mid 70s through the end of the week. And then next week we see some low 70s. Some coastal communities are reaching those low 80s today. For the mountains, hot, 93 degrees. Still dealing with that elevated fire danger. Our vegetation is so dry out there. So try not to take part in any activity that could spark a fire. This is going to continue on. Next week, we're seeing temperatures in the low 80s by Monday. High desert, very hot there, 113 today. Tomorrow, Friday, still so hot at 111. Still in the triple digits this weekend. Not until next week, it should start to feel a little better out there in the 90s. So, all right, Giovanna, Phillip, I'll send it back to you guys.
Okay, Brianna, thank you.